Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk a little bit about why high achieving women specifically sometimes lose themselves. And the first thing coming to me is that so many high achieving women, they tie their identity with their career. Literally, like the first thing they say is, I'm a this, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a this, I'm a that. And it's nothing wrong. Like, you should be proud of what you do. You should be proud of your achievements, especially like you went to school for a long time. You invested a lot of time and work into who you are. But there also is there's a level of your identity is not your career. Like, you are so much more than your career. You are literally your career. Okay, I have a piece of paper near me, my journal. But let me go to a blank page. Literally, this is your career, and this is who you are. This is a crazy looking image, but this is your career. And this is who you are. You are so much more than your career. So when you identify as your identity, when your identity is your career, you are literally shrinking who you are like 90,000 million%. And I know I'm making up words, but like, what? Your identity is not your career. You're so much more and so much bigger and more powerful than just like this little tiny career. But I do think I see high achieving women lose themselves because their identity becomes their career. I'm a this, I'm a head of this. Who are you? What do you do? I'm a this. And you are so much more than that. So I'm not saying don't say your title and don't say your career, but you're so much more than that. You have to realize and like detach your identity from I'm a, insert title, and start really coming up with like terms that capture the fullness of who you are. Like, I'm a creator. That's what, all the religious text says, that humans are creators. We're made in the image and likeness of God. So, just imagine you're really a creator, or you really are love, or you really are all of these, really, I am abundance. Like, that's the truth of who you are. And then you're shrinking it down into I'm a VP. And of course, being a VP is an achievement, but that's not the truth of who you are. So that's one way women lose themselves. And I think that what will happen, and I've dealt with this as well, is that you at some point internally, like, you just don't feel fulfilled. Like, something is off. Something is off. You don't feel fulfilled. And you're just that's when you kind of start getting lost. And then when you get lost, it's interesting because you can still do the mundane day-to-day tasks. So you can feel lost internally, but still wake up, still go to work, still do a great job, but something is off, but you don't really have the time to pause and reflect and say, wait, like, I know something's a little off, but you don't even have the time to really know deep down, oh, I need to make a full life pivot and upgrade my identity and do the inner work and do all the things and create this dream life. Like, you don't even have the time for all the visions and everything to come through. So that's the first thing that's coming to me. And I actually created notes for this YouTube, and that was not on my notes. It was just like the first thing that came through. So I'm glad. All right. So the next thing I wrote down is shadow careers. And shadow careers are really interesting. And let me take off my bracelet because it's jiggling. I don't know. So much. I'm just like creating my own words today. I love it. But it's making a lot of noise. Okay. Shadow careers. What is a shadow career? A shadow career is when you basically don't allow yourself to go for your soul's purpose, your truth, the fullness of who you are. So you kind of settle for a shadow career, a career that lives in the shadow of the truth of who you are. So I'm going to come up with a few examples. So let's say the truth of who you are is an entrepreneur. Let's say your spirit is an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur. But for some reason or another, maybe you have a fear of failure, or maybe you have a fear of the unknown. Maybe you have like blocks that are in the way. You don't allow yourself to be a creative entrepreneur. So maybe you settle for being a manager at like the #1 creative entrepreneur business in your city, or maybe even like a Fortune 500 company. You settle for, okay, so I work for the creative entrepreneurs, but I won't allow myself to be the creative entrepreneur. So that's one example. Another example is, let's say you are an artist at your core. And art can look like so many different things. I do not think that art is just cinema and film and music. I think that we're all artists and we're all creating our lives. So art can literally be in any realm. But for the sake of simplifying this example, I'm going to use like an artist that is a painter. So let's say your spirit, your soul is a painter, an artist, and that's what really, really, really wants to be expressed from you. However, for one reason or another, maybe you have a fear of judgment. You're so scared of what your friends are going to think, or your family. You don't allow yourself to create art. So instead you say, I'm going to be the receptionist or the secretary or the bookkeeper at the local, like the best poppin', painter in town. So like, it's almost those careers where you let yourself get close to what you really want to express, but you don't allow yourself to like do the thing that you really, 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 really want to do. Or maybe you want to be like a fashion icon, and like your soul just really wants to like play in fashion and art, and like you are the beauty. Think of those people like Dolly Parton, or like Beyonce, or I can go on and on about people I like, respect in fashion. But those are like bigger names that a lot of people will get. But let's say like it's your soul wants to like play with fashion in that like unique way, or like Lady Gaga, or just like be like really unique and like express your truth. You won't allow yourself to do it even on like your scale where you're at now. Express yourself on, I don't know, social media, whatever it is. But you're like, okay, well, I'll be the assistant for someone who does that. I'll be Lady Gaga's assistant, but I won't allow myself to play like Lady Gaga. So those are all shadow careers, and I think you see this so often. So I think this is one of my gifts, seeing people's shadows, seeing patterns. I worked with a client who said that in our first session, we got to the root of what it felt like it would take her like years of therapy to figure out. I think that's just one of my gifts in life. I can like see things clearly. I can see it within people. And also, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, definitely reach out. I'm a certified wellness coach, a life coach, and I help people reach their next level. So yeah, if this resonates, definitely reach out. But yes, I can, the shadow careers are very interesting. Also, hello, my whole career, most of my like 9-to-5 jobs were all shadow careers. I worked in, industries that look quote unquote cool on the outside, but I was in those supportive roles, supporting the entrepreneurs, supporting the creators, supporting the artists, supporting the fashion, supporting the this. I was always supporting it and that was my shadow version of me getting close to it, but not me allowing myself to do it. So you see it all the time. You see it in shadow careers, but really journal on this. Like, ask yourself, the first thing that's coming to me is like God, and that is if you are of have a spiritual practice or a religious practice. I think that this works for any, it doesn't matter like what your religion is. If you believe in God, you believe in God. So journal and say, God, like, what is your will for my life? Like, what do you want me to do in this life? Another journal question is, what did I come here to express? So start journaling on questions like that and just write for a long time, and your truth will come up to the surface. It will come out. And then for the next point, I put high achieving woman. I see this frequently. I see it a lot. Women are trying to prove their worth in the workplace, and it's very subtle. It's subtle, and I dealt with this as well. It's subtle. The women aren't going into work like, hey, I'm going to prove my worth today. Like, it's not overt, but you see it in meetings. So instead of saying the true thing that you want to say, you're like, ooh, what can I say so that this person thinks I'm smart? Because I need to prove that I'm smart to them and prove that I'm here. And what do I need to wear? I really want to dress like this, but I need to prove that I'm this type of person for that person. And it's like this subtle way of pressing down your authenticity just to try to prove to someone else that you're worthy. And yeah, it's really it's sad that this is so common in workplaces, and it's sad that as women, a lot of times we don't feel worthy because, like, what the heck, our presence is the worth. Like, what? So many women, we're brilliant, we're phenomenal, we're so much more powerful than we even know. Like, literally, when I think about how powerful we are, like, our level of power is like scary level, because we don't have to go out here and, just like shake 1,000 trees to make something happen. It's like our being is extremely powerful. But yeah, you see this like subtle form of, I'm not worthy, let me prove myself. I have to dress a certain way in meetings. I have to say things to make me look this way, and I have to act this way, and then you're wearing a mask. It's literally like, remember that Jim Carrey movie, The Mask? I need to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in a long time. But, it's like you go to work and you put on a mask every day, and you're like, this is my fake self, but I need to prove who I am. So let me put on this fake mask every day to prove who I am to these people who, like, why do you need to prove yourself to them? Why? They're not even like, if you make a dream, if you make a vision board and you got all these beautiful things on your vision board, they're not even your vision. They're not even your vision. So why do you need to prove your worth to them when they're not? No, you don't need to prove your worth to anybody. Just know that you're worthy because you exist, because God created you. So that's really it for me today. Definitely check out my courses, my ebooks on my site. Reach out if you want coaching one-on-one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.